Good afternoon and shalom from a little coffee and a lot of Yahuwah. Today we're going to continue with the second part of the scriptural feasts. A quick reminder on what we have discussed. There was a lot of information, but just to point out again Abba's redemption plan, starting with Passover. The Passover meal, which happens on Preparation Day. Then the first, that will be on the 14th day of the first month or moon. And then we have unleavened bread on the 15th day. And then we have, that is a high Sabbath. And 7 days later we have the second high Sabbath. We also have a weekly Sabbath in that week. And then, so the first week consists then of Passover meal, the unleavened bread and first fruits. Then we continue on with Shavuot, which is the receiving of Yahusha's spirit, or Yahuwah's spirit, his set-apart spirit, also known as the Ruach HaKodesh. These first four feasts have been fulfilled, and it basically points to what Yahusha has done, dying on the cross for us or on the stake, being our sacrifice once and for all, and we are set free from the bondage of sin and death. Then the last three, which are to come, is trumpets, which is the announcement of Yahusha's return, atonement, pointing to the fact that we overcome through the Spirit. So our spirit rules our flesh and not our flesh rules our spirit. And then Sukkot, which is preparing ourselves to tabernacle with Yahuwah. And also that is the time that Yahusha was born. That is Abba's redemption plan, very short for his people. And we need to decide, are we going to follow in his way that he's put for us, or are we going to follow the way of pagan traditions and lies? So the part now to come is not something that I do like talking about much, because names of strange and pagan mighty ones I'm going to try and point out to, and hopefully that I will not slip and say it. But it is really, really important to understand what has happened. We have to remember that we work with the enemy. He is the one that is going to try and deceive us, get us to follow the pagan traditions. And so if he manages to keep us following these lies long enough, then he will that way secure souls for his kingdom. And I certainly do not want to be part of that, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want that either. So if we have a look at what's happened in the churches has come up with a replacement theology, is what it's called. And certain aspects of Abba's word they've annulled, they've made it redundant, which are what we were talking about is the redemption plan, the scriptural feasts, the Sabbath of Yahuwah, the seventh day Sabbath, his rest day. They've taken the sacred names out of the Bible, out of the scriptures, and replaced it in the Bible with G-O-D, L-O-R-D, and then the Greek name J-C, or J-E-S-U-S. Those are very severe errors, and that is how they've achieved to deceive many people in the world. The scriptural feasts they've replaced with Christian feasts or celebrations. For instance, Christmas of course, Palm Sunday, Easter, which includes Good Friday and Easter Monday, Lent, Ash Wednesday, etc. Not even mentioning New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and all those things. But those are ones that they use to replace our wonderful set-apart days. I'm not going to expand on the Sabbath today, but I certainly recommend you research the influence that Emperor Constantine I had on the change of the Sabbath day, the seventh day Sabbath day to the first day. He is the one that changed it. He is the one who did it under the penalty of death. Certainly, if Yahushua has made it clear that, and he kept the Sabbath, and he is our perfect example, and his disciples continued with the Sabbath and the scriptural feasts. After that, he's ascended to the Shamayim to sit at the right hand of Yahuwah, our Abba. It still needs to be the case today, because he has set the example for us. A big stronghold is Christmas. Let me make this clear. You will not find Christmas, the word Christmas, in the scriptures. Christmas is not commanded for us to keep, although Abba's word, he does point out to the Christmas, and I will show you that in a little bit. The birth of our Messiah was definitely mentioned in Scripture, of course, but it is certainly not during December, or on the 25th of December. These are all lies. SANTA, the Christmas tree. Look at what it brings to the world, the greed, gifts, sales. It is the crazy time of this world. And what do you tell your child? We must keep in mind that Abba says in his 10 commandments, you shall not bear false witness. And they tell them about this red man dressed in red who magically climbs down a chimney and he enters into your house or your home. People leave a snack for him so that he can judge the children's behavior. Kids bow down in front of the Christmas tree to get or receive their gifts. And he flies through the skies with his magical beasts. Those are all lies. And you know what? I can remember, and even with my children when we went to church, they would say, and what did SANTA give you for Christmas? It's all a lie. That is wrong. No lie is acceptable. No lie. And this happens to serve the devil. And this happens only on the birthday of the Son of the Son, G-O-D, and the Son's name is T-A-M-M-U-Z. I've shown you these names before. The tree and tinsel and wreath represent fertility. People tell their children, do not speak to strangers. But what do? They take them, they bow down in front of this man in red, because they pick their child up, and they put it on the man's lap. A stranger. That is shocking. Let us see what does Scripture say about the Christmas tree. In Jeremiah 10, verse 1 to 4, you'll read the following. Hear the word which Yahuwah speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus said Yahuwah, do not learn the way of the Gentiles, and do not be awed by the signs of the heavens, for the Gentiles are awed by them. For the prescribed customs of these peoples are worthless. For one cuts a tree from the forest, work for the hands of a craftsman with a cutting tool. They adorn it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers, so that it does not topple. That is a Christmas tree. They cut it down in the forest, they put it up, they adorn it with silver and gold. And what does Abba say? Hear the word which Yahuwah speaks to you. Do not learn this way of the Gentiles. That is a clear warning. And how many priests, pastors, ministers have read this scripture during Christmas? Pretty confident the number would be 0. So let's have a look at this man in the red suit. There's a whole history, and I recommend you research it and study what it is. But you will be shocked. Right? It's this man sitting in a chair, and the parents and the children surrounding him, waiting for their turn, for them to pick their child up, bowing down in front of him, picking the child up and give it to the man, which he then accepts and he puts it in his lap. Listen to the following words. In Jeremiah 32:35, and they built high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to offer up their sons and daughters to Molek, which I did not command them, nor did it come into my heart that they should do this abomination to make Yehudah sin. Jeremiah 7 verse 31, it says, and they have built high places of Topheth, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it come into my heart. Deuteronomy 12:31, do not do so to Yahuwah your Elohim, for every abomination which Yahuwah hates they have done to their mighty ones, for they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their mighty ones. So what you have here, this mighty one, M-O-L-E-K or C-K or C-H, different translations have different spellings. This big stone statue of this wolf head man sits with his arms up, and in his lap he's got a fire. And the people will come and sacrifice their children for prosperity and for whatever reasons. And they throw them in the fire. Scripture talks about this. In 2 Kings 17 verse 16 and 17 it says, and they left all the commands of Yahuwah the Elohim, and made for themselves a molded image, 2 calves, and made an Asherah, and bowed themselves to all the host of the heavens, and served Baal, and caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and practiced divination and sorcery, and sold themselves to do evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, to provoke him. Do yourself a favor and research this one. I'm going to show you this picture, and I hope you're going to see what goes on here. Can you see there? This statue sitting with his hands out. And what do? They sacrifice the child to him, and you can see the fire on the side there. And they're bowing down to him. And that is his name. And there are some verses. Right. Now, look at this one. Does he look familiar? That's right. That is Santa. And if you shuffle the letters around, you get the devil himself. And look, How often will you see children uncomfortable in the hands of that one? So, this is a shorter one because I don't want to spend too much time on it. I hope that this information will help you to choose and research what you believe instead of following the masses. And I'm mentioning this because a lot of people feel that if there's 2 billion Christians around the world, they can't all be wrong. But in this case, there is no safety in numbers. Because if you look at Abba's word, only 8 people were saved in the flood with Noah. With Lot and his family in Sodom and Gomorrah, only his family survived. And guess what? His wife disobeyed. And she looked back and she didn't make it. Again, we learn from that disobedience. Yahushua said in Matthew 24:37, "And as the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be." So it is going to be as the day of Noah, when Yahushua returns. People will do what they do every day. People will sin, people will disobey, and no matter how much you tell them, people are going to do the same things. And then the trumpets are going to be blown, the shofars. And then people are going to be sorry, and they're going to be too late. I just want to point this to you out as well. Look at this picture. When you abort a child, it is also, some people call it Planned Parenthood, but it is a sacrifice to the same mighty one. It's the same devil waiting for your child. Shalom. I hope that you will research Abba's word, where is the only truth. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah. Till next time.